Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. Um, just having a quick look, actually, I think the Dow was again pretty interesting last night, and I think the price action towards the close was again pretty similar to the night before. And I just put it on a 5 minute chart, and basically that was the big fall. Well, not a huge fall, but it was a pretty strong sell-off at the beginning of the night on the Dow, and you can see the last sort of few hours of trade, it got bought up really quickly. I think a little bit of that is that the three of the big banks in the States are reporting tonight. I think there's Wells Fargo and Morgan's, and there's I think it's Bank of America. They're basically going to be releasing their earnings, and I think the market is generally going to be is sort of secretly fairly positive of this, and I think they're expecting possibly we could have a good night on the Dow tonight. Um, that's why I was looking at ANZ before I came into work. I believe the banks were going to get, obviously with the the higher dollar. I thought the banks might get sort of a little bit of pressure today, and they have had a good run, so it's only natural there'd be a little bit of profit taking. And I was thinking at the beginning of the day maybe to sell ANZ and take a profit. However, we did that now, but I thought no, let's just sort of hold a trend a little bit longer, because I think this has got further to run. And the reason I'm saying this is when you look at the NAB, the ANZ, sorry, when you look at the ANZ, that's a perfectly normal bullish chart. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't go up green every day. It's bound to have a few sort of how do you say, red candles and go down. But it beautifully held that short-term trend line, and that was at about 30.64. And I was watching it in the day, and I thought, I wonder if it's going to hold. It went below it, and then it got brought up absolutely perfectly. And all the banks have actually traded pretty similar, pretty very similar fashion. You can have a look at them all. They've all come back. They're all holding that sort of 20-day moving average. CBA, ANZ, NAB, exactly the same price action. Westpac. So I don't think the trend is over with these banks. If anything, if we have a good night tonight on the Dow, maybe we should look at even adding another one. It's so just going back to the trending. So I think with ANZ, we are in profit with it still at the moment, but I think just happy to hold. And the reason we're happy to hold is that I've just got a funny little feeling that tonight these earning reports coming out of these banks will be fairly bullish, and if they are, I think we can have a really nice move up on Monday and next week. And like I said, if we can break this 20,000 level, then I think we can certainly run higher. Generally speaking, as well, all the sort of the apart from gold, which was down today, the trending stocks and the market was down 0.79%. All the trending stocks have generally speaking held up and done really well. Hansen was up 1%, Domino's are up, ALQ's up, Corporate Travel's up, Babcock's up. Obviously had some good news today with their Helby takeover. FPH hardly down at all. Ramsey held up really well. So I think in a really tough day, those trending stocks did very well. Obviously, stand out for us. We do our classic weekly buy signals, and we only had two available this week. They were Dow and IMD. And just having a look at Dow, it actually did hit that signal. It opened at 632, went as high as 645. So I think it was pretty excellent. It closed the week just marginally lower, and the ASX did end up lower, so it really just sort of moved with the ASX. But certainly IMD was totally outperformed. Again, you can see that nice green candle. At one stage this was up about 17%. I think it ended up about sort of 10%. So certainly those classic weekly buy and sell signals really outperforming a market which ended the week in the red. Again, those bullish signals did very well. Oz Minerals obviously did very well. It was a standout, hitting record yearly highs. And again, in a negative week, this stock opened at 8.37 and went as high as $9 and closed at 8.90. And I think that's absolutely extraordinary. BHP, again, we're trending the stock. We did take profits on it. Again, did very well for us. Opened the week at 25.29 and closed at 26.33 and was as high as 26.59. So absolutely stunning. SIP Again, went through that sort of bullish momentum. Actually, went as high as $1.34 and ended the week just marginally higher. So obviously outperforming the market. I talked about this stock last night, NWH. I really like it. I think this is a great little recovery chart. Well worth having a look at it. In fact, um, our analyst Peter Cobbetts had a look at it today, and he said, "Dave, I really actually quite like it. I think it's a really could be a really interesting little story for this year." And again, I think the price action looked very good. It ended the week marginally up, but at one stage was up about 4 or 5%. So again, it did very well. And again, Orica ended slightly up, but had that sort of strong move up. MNY again had a really decent move up, 167, closed at 167, but again outperforming the market. Good. One stock that I'd like to talk about today is IGO, because as you can see, IGO had a sort of bad day today. Really, it's sort of after having a pretty decent week early on, it opened the week at $4.41, went as high as 4.67. I had this sell-off today about 8 or 9%. This was due to the fact that in Indonesia they've opened their export market to nickel, and the nickel price got sort of sold down overnight, and there was a bit of obviously panic. However, IGO Group, for us this is a 3-year growth story, and we posted a really interesting article on Einstein's trending blog about IGO. It was written in the newspapers a few days ago, so go and read up about it, because it gives you a sort of a very good sort of mums and dadsy view of the project and the potential of IGO over the next 3 years. And again, we like IGO. We do think nickel's going to, over the medium term, is going to be a lot higher. They've got one of the great gold projects. They've got copper. They've got a great mix of products, and obviously they've got their new mine, which is coming, which is just recently, a few months ago, coming online, which will be obviously giving them a lot of revenue this year. So I think this little pullback IGO's had today is nothing more than actually a good time, if you're not in the stock, to have a look at it, or possibly add to your portfolio or get in it. So again, and all it's done is come back and just touch that sort of really bullish trend line. And IGO is quite volatile. These type of commodity stocks can be pretty volatile. You can see here with these big black candles and big green candles, it can move up and down pretty quickly, IGO. So it is a hard one to hold on to, but we do believe over the next 3 years we're going to do very well with this company. And just having a look, obviously these stocks that we had as bullish stocks, I think they still look really bullish, and these are sort of oil and gas sector recovery stocks, and in those is KAR, SEA again, I think held up pretty well for the week. Opened the week at 0.24 and closed at 0.23. Wolseley Parsons, a stock that we really like, obviously again in a negative week, I think generally speaking held up pretty well. ANZ, like I've said, ANZ and these banks, I don't think these bank trends are over yet. And Bank of Queensland at one stage this week would have made us a lot of money. It was up at opened at 12.22 and went as high as 12.48. So again, I think these bullish signals are giving us, generally speaking, tremendous guidance. Plus the fact that stocks that we said were going to go down, obviously it's a negative week, they tend to go down even more. And as you can see, obviously AGI got hit quite badly, as did CHC. You see that big black candle. Osforex actually held up pretty well. PMV, again you can see that decent black candle, got sold down quite heavily. PTM, again sort of decent black candle, sort of got sold down pretty strongly. And what did AAD do? AAD just ended the week more or less on par. So again, the weekly sell signals just giving good guidance to just stay away from those stocks, because generally speaking, we feel that the sentiment of the market is going to be pulling them down. That's all I've got to talk about tonight on Equity Story. I think it is quite an important price action tonight, or quite an important night in the market. And hopefully, if there is a chance to get over that 20,000 level. We do have one tonight. Anyway, I'd like to thank you for listening to Equity Story, and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you very much, and good night.